All right, so today we are going to do the box with the lid, which is above your center tower here. And then I will show you how to get the checkerboard box started and the clear box on the bottom. So we're going to be kind of working on the right side of the paper and above your tower. All right, so for the box with the lid, I'm setting up my T-square at the top of my board, at the top of my folder, so like this, so it's level. All right, I'm giving myself, I'm going to move mine over so you can see my line here. There is going to be space about, you could do like a ½ an inch or so, 3/4 of an inch. And then from the top of the paper, give yourself about 1/4 of an inch, and you're just going to draw your center line. All right, just to be clear, everything starts with that center line, okay? Everything like kind of emanates from that center, so if you don't have your center line, it's hard to start, right? That's kind of like where you start from. So this is the lidded box, so I'm going to line up my left-hand side to my left point. I'm just going to draw my bottom. I am not looking, I'm going to do probably on mine, but I'm not looking necessarily for you to have your tower and your lidded box. They don't have to like be the same length. If one is a little bit wider or one is a little bit shorter, that is okay with me. All right, and then I'm going to do the top line. All right, and now I'm going to do the right-hand side. All right, so you have your box laid out. Okay, I'm going to use my T-square and I'm going to connect them so they're perfectly straight up and down. All right, so now that's connected. All right, now I need to do the lid. So I'm going to make a tiny short vertical here. A tiny short vertical there. Okay, a tiny short vertical in the center. And now I'm going to finish that top. So left to left, right to right. Erase anything that doesn't make sense. Okay, and then there's kind of like 2 final steps to make this look like it's a lid sitting on top of a box and that it's also floating. So the first step is just like we did yesterday with the underside of this floating box here, we're going to crisscross, right? So this corner on the right crosses to the point on the left. And depending on your placement, you might see the bottom or it might kind of crash into the tower. All right, I'm fine either way. I can just tell like that your lines are going in the correct direction. All right, so mine's just kind of like floating right there. All right, if your box is lower, it might just like end on the tower, and that's okay. All right, and then the other thing you need to do, and this is key, is you need to do the underside of the lid. So the same thing. You're going to take this corner and you're going to cross it over to the opposite point right here. And I will look for this. You will lose points if this little underside is not visible. Okay, because then it looks like a lid sitting on a box. All right, so that is the lidded floating box. Okay, my center line here got crooked, so I'm going to fix this for today. I'm going to finish all these first, and then I will come over. Just straightening this up. Okay. All right. Checkerboard All right, I'm not going to color in every single box, but I will talk about that. And for your final one, you will need to color it in. Okay, so for your checkerboard box, okay, it's underneath the floating box to the right of the tower. All right, and there should be your center line where you're going to start everything from should cross the horizon. And I would say you want it to be about 2 inches long. All right, so I'm crossing the horizon. I went from the 5 to the 7. Okay, now I'm going to do the right side. All right, so same thing, about 2 to 3 inches long. All right, that's the right. That's the bottom. That's the top. I'm going to join those together with my T-square. Every vertical that I do, I use the T-square, and I make sure it's lined up on the edge of my cardboard or the edge of your folder. Right, so then you know every line is straight up and down. All right, so that's the right side of my checkerboard. Now I'm going to do the left, which will be a little bit shorter because the front of that box is a little bit smaller than the sides. It's like a rectangle, it's not a cube. Hopefully at this point you kind of are seeing like the rules, like, you know, to the point, to the point. Once you get the rules down, it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to erase this. All right, if you see the horizon line cutting through anything, you're going to erase it. Okay, now for the checkerboard measurements, and I will have this written down for you on Google Classroom when you're doing your final one. All of these measurements should be 1/4 of an inch. Okay, if you don't know what that looks like on your ruler, it's every inch on your ruler right here, right, from like the beginning to 1 is divided into 4 parts. All right, so the first quarter is 1/4 of an inch. And you're just going to lay your ruler right down. And I'm going to make a tiny little mark at my quarters. So here, 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 and just kind of keep going. If you don't know what a 1/4 of an inch is, this will be tricky for you. All right, and I have this little extra left over, and that's fine. That's not a full 1/4 of an inch, but close enough. I'm going to do it across the front as well. All right. I'm going to do it up the side, up the center line. I'm going to mark my 1/4 of an inch marks. All right, so now I have my grid planned, and what you need to do is you take your T-square, make sure it's lined up at the top of your paper, at the top of your folder, just like mine here, and you just go every 1/4 of an inch and you just draw your vertical. So I'm using my 1/4 inch marks as like the start of my lines. Right, so I'm just doing the vertical ones first. Okay, I have my grid that's beginning here, and now I'm going to do the front. All right. When you are doing, because this is the part where people mess up, when you are doing the horizontals on your checkerboard, this is the center line, right? Restating this. This is where I started. Everybody sees that?
Yeah.
Okay. So all of my horizontals, anything above the horizon, which is really just this one mark. All right, for me it's just one. For you it might be more. it's going to slant downwards to the point. Then I'm at the horizon, and I go straight. And then I start to slant upwards because now I'm below the horizon. So I'm really just holding my ruler at the point, and I'm just kind of sliding it down for every mark. There's like a math word, which is converge, right? Everything is like going towards one point. So all these lines are converging over here, right? You should see the angle of that. If your lines are straight across, there was you did something wrong, right? You're not going to the point. Now, I'm just going to take this line on this side, and now on the left side, I'm just going to aim it to the left point. So now they're going to converge to the left. And it will make your box look like it has 3 dimensions. It's going to look like the pattern is turning the corner. Okay, and then you can start to color it in. So you just shade it in with your pencil, right? You're alternating your checkerboards. All right, and I won't spend the time like coloring this in, but you need to have this colored in for your final version. All right. All right, and like, you know, I'll color this in so for tomorrow's video it's filled in. All right, and then the last thing I'm going to do for today is the clear box on the floor, which is, move this up, which is the only thing in this space right here. All right, so you end up with like a lot of space that you have for the clear box. I'm just going to straighten this line. All right. Okay, so I'm going to start my center, and that's going to be short. About an inch or inch and a half is good. I'm going to do an inch. Right, like that. All right, I know like the recording thing is there, so I'll move this up here. There you go. Okay. Same, and now like same thing that we've been doing. Left to left. Make these kind of short. It's another rectangular cube or rectangular box, so I'm gonna make the front a little shorter than the back. Join those up with my T-square. Now I'm gonna go right, and like I said yesterday, right, we're getting closer to the point and at a more dramatic angle. So this will be very steep. Join these with a straight line right here. Erase my extra. All right, so I have my front done, I have my sides done. I'm going to do my top. So, just like we did for the bottom here and the bottom here and the underside of this, right, when we're showing the tops or bottoms of things, we go to the opposite side. So this corner here is going to this point, right, because it's like crossing over. So I'm showing the top of my box for this one. We haven't really done this yet because we haven't had anything tall enough. And then this corner here goes over there. So make sure your ruler is long enough. Mine barely fits. Okay, so that's the clear box, and then the only last little detail that you need to do is the inside. So you're going to hold up your T-square, and from that far left corner, you're just going to make a broken or dotted line down, right, because that indicates the back corner. And then on the bottom, I'm going to do a broken line. Make sure your your little slashes here are small enough. Right? If it's like 3 big ones, it doesn't really like have the same visual effect as doing a couple little ones. And then from the back corner to here. And wherever they intersect is where it works. And then I'm just going to erase the extras that I have. All right, so now you can see that this box is supposed to be like clear, right? It shows the inside edges and the inside corner. Just make sure you erase what you don't want. All right, so that is today. So now we're basically finished the right side of the drawing, other than the floor, which will be kind of our last day. We'll do the floor. So tomorrow we'll start to work into the left side. We'll do the open carton and the E. Then on Friday we'll do the canoe and the trap door. Then we do the frame box. Then we do everything in the background, and then we do the floor. All right.